Wow. Okay, so today has been a very special day because we are celebrating a rather special Gujarati film that has not only done remarkably well in India, but even in the UK, it's definitely opened and is receiving a very full house sort of reaction. And I'm very pleased because the director is someone who I've known for years. And some of the talents here I've kind of known as well, and I've interviewed before on Filme Shilmy. So a big, big, big welcome to the team of Umbarro and the wonderful and formidable cast. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. It's so wonderful to have you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Thank
much
you,
for having
Anuj.
us.
Yes.
Right. So I'm gonna begin actually with Kajal. I'm gonna begin with you. I think for me,
Yes, yes, please.
it's so. I think the voice that you represent in Umbro is a very important one because it's also really talking about the sort of the senior citizens and the sort of treatment they sort of get when it comes to the kids of today and that whole dynamic, that dysfunctionality between generations as well as the sort of relationship between their kids. Given the fact that you've always written and always been a part of really very like important social subjects as well in your career, how much did that really have an impact on you and the way you presented your character in the film?
See, according to me, it's so real. What I love about this film is it's a real film. It's not talking something which is not happening in this country or in the world. Every woman, every character that we look at, they are the real characters. You feel one with them. And what Abhishek has portrayed is very true that this is happening every day in this world today, not just in UK or America, it's happening in India also. So for me, what he has portrayed is very close to my heart, and I've met so many people like that who have complained like this and who have said that they have been treated like this and their children want only the help for raising their children or for the household or for other things, and they don't care for that what their parents feel or what the single parent especially feel. Because at one point of time what happens is the single parent is, you don't have your partner and you are lonely at wherever you are living, and then at one point of time you feel that okay chalo બાળકોની સાથે રહીએ અને બાળકો આપણને સારી રીતે રાખશે અથવા મને કંપની રહેશે અથવા હું ગ્રેન્ડચિલ્ડ્રનને સાથે રહીશ તો મને સારું લાગશે. બટ દેન ગ્રેજ્યુઅલી યુ સ્ટાર્ટ રિયલાઇઝિંગ કે હું આ લોકોની સાથે રહેવા આવી છું, પણ એ લોકોને તો માત્ર હેલ્પ જ જોઈએ છે.
Ji.
And that's where your heart breaks. That's where you feel cheated in a way from, it's very sad story actually. Somewhere down the line you feel cheated by your children. And that's where I think Chaya Joshi begins her journey. So I love the character and Abhishek has portrayed it very well. And he made me do this so easily and beautifully. So I loved the film overall and my character. Yes, I loved it.
No, and we loved you too in the film. I think you were really brilliant.
Thank you.
It was so great to see you in the film, and thank you so much for taking time out. I know you're busy traveling and stuff, so I can imagine how difficult it is. And I think the next actor I'm going to go to is Tarjanee because I know she's busy in a shoot right now. As you can see, she's got her outfit almost ready and her look very ready. And I was like, Areva, that's very good. So, so I think Tarjanee, I think what I really loved, it was very refreshing, I think, to see the sort of bond that you share with Sucheeta Trivedi, who plays your mother in the film.
Yeah.
हाँ हाँ मेरे साथी है वो.
Where right. So obviously given the fact that the sort of dynamic that you share, it's a very rare one because I feel
Yeah, yes.
often with the with especially with the mother-daughter dynamic, it's a very khatta meetha one. And
Yeah.
you saw flavors of that, but at the same time there was one about progressiveness. It was about wanting to give life a second chance. And you're the sort of younger generation out of all the cast members that are here, youngest generation member that's there. So I guess for you to bring that sense of hope and your sort of thoughts and processes to this generation, how much was that important for you throughout the making of this film?
Um, so one thing that because I knew that my character the biggest struggle was to kind of support like my mom's character, because I knew that sometimes like it's somebody else's desire to fly, that you make, make it happen, and that is how you feel like you've empowered something. So, one thing that I wanted to make sure with this character is that the mother-daughter bond shouldn't, like, look fake, because a lot of times when we portray like a mother-daughter, or like any, parental and mother, like kids chemistry on screen, it kind of looks a little bit fake, because they're always like, talking to each other nicely, and that's not how we are with our parents. We get irritated with by them. We kind of like sometimes want them to, let's just like be away, or like sometimes we just like, we just want them. So that is one thing that I was kind of very like, like I had a big desire that that should just come out. And it happened so beautifully with Suchita ma'am, is that because like she's not like somebody who would like, fake relationships. If she does not like somebody, she would be like, you'd see it on her face. So that was the biggest and the best thing about her, that she's very raw. And so we kind of just bonded on that, and then we like had this great chemistry. And so after that, when we played the characters, like we didn't have to kind of, connect before the scene to kind of feel like we are playing a mother and daughter. We were just like there. And another thing that I loved about this thing is that it's just not, you wanting your parent to have a partner, because you know that your parent has suffered through a trauma. You understand the trauma when she kind of like starts, panicking, and she has this anxiety attack when you just even talk about marriage to her. So you understand everything, you know that she's way much happier. But in Avni's life, there's a guy called Vyom who's her fiance and who's a very nice guy. So what you want for your mom is not just a partner for her loneliness so that you can be with your partner. It's the kind of healing that you want for your mom. Because you know that how much ever sometimes, as women, I felt this thing during the process of my character, is that as a woman, when you try to kind of get out of your traumas, when you've been with a toxic man or your almost your entire life, and you kind of want to heal, how much ever you try to heal yourself, how much ever you will try to be a strong woman, how much ever you'll be that, you will be a strong woman in the end. But you want, at one point you would want your feminine energy to come out. You would want like somebody to be there and take care of you and take in charge of stuff, and then you can just relax. And not a lot of women get this get this opportunity in their life. This, like, they go through divorces or they don't get married or something like that. So the healing that you go through when there's a positive masculine energy in your life, who's supporting you, who's loving you, that kind of that healing is very important. And so Avni's character is just not like, I did have a notion sometimes that Avni's not wanting her mom to be with somebody else just because like she is stress free, or just because like she feels ki chalo aisa, because she understands the trauma that she's been through. So she's not trying to push her. But what she really wants is that if she can be with another man, then the strong sense of personality and the strong sense of tigress that she's become now, my mom, she will soften. And that that the softness and that healing would kind of give her those few moments of the things like when there's a dance sequence in London LMD, she's just dancing. And that
Hmm.
is when I just see that point, that that softness that she's lost in this being strong personality and protecting daughter and providing for your daughter and everything. So that is the desire that Avni has. So yeah, that's
No, it was
about it.
very beautiful. I think the dynamic that you both shared was definitely really beautiful. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
bring Suchita Ben into this conversation actually, because I think it just makes sense since we've spoken about the daughter. Suchita Ben, so well, firstly, thank you for joining us. We were just reminiscing the last interview we did 5 years ago, and
Yeah,
how.
it's a pleasure. I feel that if your work is kind of released in the UK or out of India, and if you don't have an interview or you don't have an attention of Anuj Radia, then I think it's your success is kind of incomplete. So thank you. Thank
Oh,
you
I'm
so much.
literally so touched. That's so lovely. Thank you. Oh wow, that's the best thing I've ever had, and that's from Suchita
Thank you.
Trivedi, guys. So what an endorsement, right? Okay, so I think you know what I've noticed actually about the works that you've done. Now I followed a lot of your work on television. You know how much I love Meenakshi and how much of a big fan I am of Babu Or Baby, right? I've also seen your other show, Ek Dusre Se Karte Hai Pyar Hum, India Wali Ma. I think the way you really bring that maternal figure, I think there is that, like how we see in your character in the film as well, there is that surface level hardness that's there, but at the same time, there is certain comedic aspects to her, but at the same time, there's also this sense of deep suppressed emotions that I think you managed to really beautifully portray. Over the years, how have you managed to really adapt to these really multifaceted, layered characters, especially if it is in the very Gujarati maternal setup as well?
I think coming from theater makes a lot of difference, and working with good directors. I mean, I knew when I was working with Abhishek, um, I'll tell you the kind of workshops that we've had and kind of performance that he's generated in the workshop. I don't think so that scenes that we actually shot was even 1 or 10% of the intense workshops that we did. I mean, while we were shooting, everything came like flying in because we were just so prepared. Every look, every breath, everything was constructed and prepared by the maestro himself, Abhishek Shah, and he just made it all happen for us. We shot this whole film in 17 days in England, day in and day out, and we went at such a season where the sun would go down at 10 at night, and we were shooting the whole time with the unit going from one place to the other. And it was like, if you're shooting in the evening, that doesn't mean that you will go on the set in the evening, but in that much time there will be like Abhishek's assistants or associates who would be actually taking your montages for something else.
Hmm.
Everything was done with such precision and so much of detailed work and so much of preparation. His prep was fantastic. It was like it didn't matter. I never felt that I'm working in a Gujarati film or something, not which was a streamlined mainstream Hindi. It just, the language was Gujarati. Otherwise, the whole unit was like international, so prepared. And I think that's what in this particular film, if I'm talking about, that's what gave me that edge, and gave me that, those flying stars that people are talking about. My performance is all Abhishek Shah, and the way he prepared
Hmm.
every actor, every scene, every frame, every angle, everything was rehearsed 20,000 times before we were on the set.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, that's why I wanted to highlight that. So I think working with a good director makes a lot of difference, and you just see life around you as a cinema. The minute you start seeing that and inculcating that in your personality, that's the time I think you get it right. But working with a good director and a good writer is the basic.
hmm.
Yeah, because if that is not right, then nothing is right.
Correct. No, very, very rightly said. And I think, someone who I think also really symbolizes this kind of this kind of like this almost very I don't know how to describe it, but someone who's very tough on the surface, but deep down has a very comedic angle and stuff. I think probably Vandana Pathak ma'am is definitely has symbolized that for me through all of her characters. I mean, if I look, obviously Jayashree is, I mean, वो तो
Yeah.
character है, वो तो legendary है ही, but उसके अलावा there's obviously even in when he did Saath Nibhana Sathiya also. I mean that character. Hi Abhishek, welcome.
Hi, hi, hi.
So we got the director Abhishek Shah joining us, and we will be
The
in.
cherry on the cake appears.
Yeah. This is quite interesting. As soon as I
So,
say rough, yeah. As soon as I was mentioning rough on the surface and soft between it, and then Abhishek appears, which is great. No, but it's great to see you, Abhishek, and I'll be coming to you shortly. But so Vandana,
yeah,
ma'am, I guess for you, you've had this knack of really presenting characters which are very rough on the surface, but also again, very, very comedic in their own way, but very expressive. I think the word expressive is a very good word here, and I think your Gujarati accent was a Mehsani accent.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Which is very different. I've not seen many Gujarati films which actually sort of where characters have that accent. And I think the fact that you're representing almost a powerful strata, because I feel like politicians is such a they have a very, I mean, they're very notorious, right? Like they're always divisive and people always have so many polarizing opinions. But to actually play someone who comes from that atmosphere, but yet also at the same time who's very lovable and you empathize with. I mean, the drunk scene was absolutely gold. I love that scene. I must highlight that. It was brilliant. Um,
Thank you.
what helped you to really humanize actually the sort of the topic? Because you're in a way traditional, but at the same time you've also want to do stuff which might not be necessarily considered traditional at the same time. So how did you navigate that dichotomy in the character?
First of all, I would like to say that, when you talk about Gujarati films, or for that matter, a lot of films, we often get people who come and say, it's a character of a mother. No, mother is not a character.
True.
Mother is not a character. There is some, like, all the mothers are different. Each and every person is different. So when I got call from Abhishek about this film, ek to sab, the thing is ki, which I always tell in all my interviews, that if you manifest something, you definitely get it. So when I saw Hellaro, at that time only I had thought of, working with him and all. But I didn't know him personally, though we are from the same fraternity. But we never crossed each other's path. Or I don't remember we met before. And then something like this happens. So, how you are on the top. Like, Podi Nakish, I am so like, like that. And when I heard the script, we met in his office, and I was in Ahmedabad for another film. And we met. The first thing that I realized that what I used to think, that each and every person is different. I speak a different kind of Gujarati. Maybe you speak in a different kind because where you are, the region, your upbringing. So all the characters are different. But if I'm doing some films, I think everybody talks some different language, though they are from the same house. Nobody is like, ki bhai, they are on the same page, like talking. But when I heard about the script, I feel script is the hero always.
Yeah.
So the script was fantabulous. And when I came to know about my character, first thing was I was scared. Because मैंने कभी इस तरह का attempt किया ही नहीं. Though I like to take challenges, it was very difficult. It was absolutely difficult. So he read the script for me in that language, how Seema will speak, how Seema will, not exactly, but he narrated me the scene, the script, according to how she will speak. And then we had a language tutor who taught me how to speak this. And once I left from the shoot, I had requested him and Ekta to at least give me an audio about, how the dialogues will be spoken. So at least I can rehearse, I can do it, and I can prepare myself. So that was the first thing that happened. And then we all met for the workshop, and workshop was the best. I always love workshops because, like how Sucheeta said, being from the theater, you like to prepare yourself. That, what you say, the preparation time, rehearsal time is the best, where you get hold of your character, of others' characters and all. And during the workshop, we knew exactly where we have to stand, where we have to sit, where we have to raise your brow, where we have to raise your hand. During the workshop itself, we were so prepared. We loved it so much that we all were like, we were like students. We wanted to do and, get it correct. And I feel that helped all of us because we were shooting in London. We did not have that much of, when you are shooting here in India or in Ahmedabad, તો તમારી પાસે એટલો ટાઈમ હોય છે કે ચલો તમે રિહર્સલ ત્યાં કરો ને at the place and all. But when you're shooting abroad, you have because the rules are so difficult. So એટલે તમારી પાસે ટાઈમ એટલો ઓછો હોય છે. The other whole not about the cast I'm saying, but the whole crew is different from London. તો પછી એ બધું difficult થઈ જાય છે. So we rehearse so much. And I got my character, and of course, it was difficult for me. It was, I will not lie. It was quite difficult, quite challenging for me. And all the time I was telling Abhishek, please મને કહેજો ક્યાં હું ખોટું બોલું છું, because it doesn't look good. આ સામે આપણે normal બોલતા હોઈએ ગુજરાતી, so that's fine. But otherwise, if you are representing a specific region, so, and for me, I feel ki Seema is, see, the best part with Seema was that she did not have any dream, which was so difficult to play, because in every character, whenever you play some character, you have something to look forward to. Here there was nothing, absolutely nothing for Seema, and to get it out. So I absolutely loved this character, and I'll say that I had to work hard. And Abhishek, thank you so much. અત્યારે આટલા બધા phones ને આટલું બધું આવે છે. I'm so happy. I'm the top of the world. Seriously. And he helped me so much. And with everybody, I'll say ki, sometimes now I used to say, Sucheeta will agree with me, when we used to do Ek Mahal Aur Sapno Ka and all those shows, at that time, वो लाइट बंद कर दो, वो बड़ी वाली, वो वाइट वाली बंद कर दो. तो उस वक्त at that time, we all used to be together. Yeah. Everybody, all the cast. Now it's not the case, Somebody is in the room, कोई आएगा रिहर्सल करने के लिए, कोई नहीं आएगा. ऐसे ही होता है when we are working. But here we all were together. Though किसी का भी scene हो, it was never like upstaging or doing something. Everybody knew what they were doing. And the best part, what I like about Abhishek, I'll tell you that whenever there is a scene, he makes you do, he gives you a free hand. So you start thinking about it, कि क्या करूं मैं and all. And secondly, and secondly, when there is the scene, each of the other, like if it's my scene, so then Sucheeta or Tejal or Tarjanee or Vineeta or Kaajal or whoever it is, they have to do their own thing, even though the scene is mine. वो लोग थोड़ी ना बैठे रहेंगे सुनने के लिए, उनको क्या पता कि क्या बोलने वाली हूँ. So they are into their own thing. But in their character, being in the character, being in the background also, they are into the character. So what happens is, whenever you are shooting or whenever you are filming or whenever you're doing something, other characters are like, they leave their character and they're listening to you. But here it was not that case. So if you see the film, if you see each and every scene, the other characters are also in the film. And they are themselves, they are doing something. પાછળ બેકગ્રાઉન્ડમાં પણ કંઈક ને કંઈક ચાલતું જ હોય છે. But it is such that it's not obstructing the scene. So it's like that. So
like Vandana said, that we with working with Abhishek and the team, we felt like that the old days, the old principles, the golden period felt like it came back again for
back
those
again.
days.
And the best thing was that nobody was saying that, yeah, મને આવડે છે, હું કરી લઈશ.
Oh, we were scared of him. We can't say that.
No.
I had to share one thing with Seema Ben's character. So what was happening?
Beautiful you're looking.
Thank you.
नहीं, मेरे को लगा, honestly, मेरे को लगा
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was saying is that, so sir, કેવું થયું, હું અહીંયા set પર હોઉં ને, તો there's this hairdresser and everybody. So one day I don't know what conversation struck, but like we were just talking and I asked her कि अच्छा आपका सपना क्या है ऐसा. So then she was like कुछ नहीं. तो मैंने बोला अच्छा ओके सपना कुछ नहीं, but like what, मतलब आपका do you have any desires, मतलब ऐसा कि do you want to eat pizza या घर जाके ऐसा. She was like नहीं कुछ नहीं. And then I just realized कि भाई there are people like this, there are women like this, they have no dreams at all. She comes to work, she's a single mother, she comes to work, she earns for her kids and she has no single dream. And she's like हाँ जिंदगी ऐसा ही होता ना, अपने काम किया, पैसा कमाया, फिर घर जाने का, बस इतना. And I was like, should you Seema Ben ka character and everybody's character, but like
no, but I'll tell you, Tarjanee, my bhabhi's mother when Abhishek narrated me, I don't know whether Abhishek you remember or not, but I have told Abhishek also that my bhabhi's mom, she was the same, and my bhabhi's father was an MLA. Yeah, and my bhabhi's mom, she was like that only, always doing for others, and she never had dreams. And also, I told my bhabhi, I said, I'm going to play your mother, and I know such people, So sometimes I feel that it's so real. We always feel कि नहीं ऐसा कैसे, it's little too much or ऐसा नहीं होता. But there are people like that, who don't have dreams, and that's something which, when I did the character of Seema, I felt that, oh my God, this is really, something like you have never thought of. Like when you grow up, nowadays when you ask little kids also, they say, yeah, I want to be something. तो बड़े होके जो भी बनते हैं वो बात अलग है. But at least they have something. कि या मुझे ये बनना है. But for this woman, Seema Patel, MLA સાહેબ ને છુંદો બહુ ભાવે. એમને ભાવે એટલે મને ભાવે. So it's like, never thought about herself. And the last thing, when she comes with that dress and all, I think I love this character. I think this is the film which has given me, taken me to, people find me that, yeah, after so many years, yes, Vandana Ben can do this also.
That's one of the high points of the film, when Vandan comes in that dress. That's really a symbol of liberation for so many.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that was such a beautiful, beautiful. I really enjoyed that. But I think also what I really wanted to point out here is that,
and I think one thing I would want to add, that Abhishek makes all of us, like, he has his takya kalam. He'll just come very near to you and he just like whisper in your ear, that gajab actress ho tame, and he'll say things like that. All of us, he said this to all of us, gajab actor, gajab ba, kya baat hai? Gajab. He'll make all of us feel like Oscar the koi mottu inam hota, apne mari and we are used to that.
No, but I'll tell you one thing. Whenever we are shooting, or he wants one more and all, he will never say from there ke ek aji ek laiye. Not even politely. He'll come to you and he will tell you ke beta aji ek laiye, kahin kam sarasam.
Kya baat hai? Chalo maza hai.
Well, since we're talking about this, I can also reveal that I had also auditioned for Umbarro as well.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Yep. Character.
I auditioned for Umbarro, so that's why for me this film is even more special, because I have a very personal connection now with the film. But no, I think Vandana Ben, what you were saying, and I think the sort of conversation that you evoked, I think is very true. And I think also it takes a very good filmmaker, I think, to really balance it and not, because see, there's nothing wrong with cultural aspects. Okay, culture is fine. Like our culture is, I love our culture, but at the same time, it's not trying to make it look pseudo woke. At the same time, I feel certain filmmakers, just to score points, would do that. Tarjanee, I can see you were itching to say something, so I'll come to you.
No. Please, we were just talking about Abhishek sir and how he's this actor's director because he comes and tells you. But I feel that he's great because he's also an actor's director. He understands how to command actors and how to get that thing out of them. But he's also a very technical director who has this amazing sense of like the frames and camera and story. And he's also a good storyteller. He writes the screenplay. And then when the magic he does in editing and music and everything. So I just want to say.
All his frames have a lot of influence of European cinema and world cinema.
I was
about that in his
right. I wanted to add to it that there was a scene between me and Kaajal where we come walking, and if you see, like, if you see that, if you remember that scene, all the windows are closed. That's the best part. What I like about Abhishek is, he what do you say? The area or whatever the location.
Yeah,
that is part of that's a
that becomes another character only.
Another character, because in that scene all the windows and the doors, he wanted that. So right now I feel how much prep he must have done. He must have looked everywhere to get the perfect area or the location that he wants for the particular scene or the particular shot he wants to take. So in that scene, all the windows are closed. So like how Seema Patel, all the windows are closed in her life, you know. And when she says and she sees the girls walking in minis, and she laughs and smiles and she says, so Kajal asks me, why are you laughing? Because they are wearing such short clothes. So Seema says, no, I'm just thinking, hey, how will it look if I wear such things, you know?
Yeah.
And Kajal says, and it's sapnu kehvai. And then that girl with the van, she goes and that thought only, you know, I mean, I was bored by the thing, the thought only.
Right. Right. No,
So
absolutely.
I'm not talking only about my character. I'm talking about each and every character. If you see Vineeta's thing also, you know. So and
So,
nobody is wrong. Everybody is right in their own way. If
yeah.
you see Vineeta walking alone and those 4 boys or 3 boys coming, दूसरे कहीं में हो तो oh God, now so they are going to take advantage of her. But no, people are not bad. ऐसा होता है तो लोग बुरे ही होते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है, you know.
Bilkul. I'm
People
gonna.
come at you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with all
Anuj,
those.
I want to add something.
Sure.
So I have adapted the character from Jhimma.
Yes.
It was played by Nirmiti Sawant, right? So I have adapted in Gujarati as Seema Patel. So the difficult part was that के मैं नहीं चाहता था कि वो कैरेक्टर बिल्कुल निर्मित सावंत ने किया वैसा दिखे, right? So I'm the writer. I have a co-writer, Usha. So when we were adapting the story, the screenplay and the characters, so I was very clear that कि ये कैरेक्टर उस कैरेक्टर जैसा नहीं दिखेगा, right? बट लिख लिया, लिखने के बाद जब हम लोग वर्कशॉप्स कर रहे थे, so then one day I thought that every character has something which is a conflict. So Seema Ben સિવાય બધા જ character પાસે conflict છે. So Seema Ben doesn't have any kind of conflict in her life. So the writer inside me told the director Abhishek कि भाई ये कुछ करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज ये जो कैरेक्टर है जो जहां से बन के आ रहा है, जो कनेक्ट होने वाला है, उसका कॉन्फ्लिक्ट नहीं बनेगा.
Yeah.
So then the director made a conflict out of that dream and desire sequence.
Nice.
કે जिसमें वो પૂછતી है કે સપનું કોને કહેવાય હાથે. અને then સીમાબેન જ્યારે વિચારે છે અને એ એના બાળપણમાં જાય છે ને પેલી છોકરી દોડે છે, પછી જે ડ્રીમ આવે છે ને એ ડ્રીમ સીમાબેનના ડ્રીમથી શરૂ થાય છે, રાઈટ? તો તમને બી ખબર પડે કે આની લાઈફનો કોઈ કોન્ફ્લિક્ટ નથી, એવું નથી. આની લાઈફનો કોન્ફ્લિક્ટ જ એ છે કે એના સપનુંને ઈચ્છા નથી ખબર, રાઈટ? સો that was the idea કે ડિરેક્ટર તરીકે મારે કોન્ફ્લિક્ટને બહુ જ લાર્જર દેન લાઈફ નહીં બતાવીને પણ કનેક્ટ કરે એવું બતાવવું પડે, રાઈટ? સો એ એક મને એક એડ કરવા જેવી વાત લાગી.
No, lovely. I think I'm gonna come to Vineeta though, because honestly, if there's one character that I think I could really empathize and relate with, I think it probably was her. Because I feel like, you know, like I said in the introduction as well, and when I was speaking to you individually, before we started the interview, is that if we take away the gender spin on it, right, it's a very human story. It's a story about second chances in life, essentially, right? I think that's something which I can really empathize with. And I think, Vineeta, I think the way you beautifully, first of all, I must tell you, initially when I saw you on screen, and I'm not comparing at all because I know I should never compare anyone because everyone's got their own individuality, but you reminded me of Jyotika from South. So, she's a remarkable actress, and I absolutely love her. And I think the gentleness in which you brought the character, I think, was fabulous. Because, you know, kabhi kabhi aisa hota hai, like, especially if you're showing a character who's suddenly breaking free, they'll suddenly go from one extreme to another. But there has to be like a certain concise nature. You show that. I think you show that very beautifully. When you are playing someone who is obviously who's going through depression, she's fighting mental health. What was your perhaps reference point? Of course, you had such a great director at hand, of course, but what was your internal sort of process like in actually doing that character?
So, Anuj, first of all, I feel The way Umro, Smruti, and Abhishek has portrayed mental health issue in a film, in a blockbuster film, let me correct that now. I think it has never been done in Gujarati cinema, at least. I can say that proudly. The way mental health issue, not showing it as an issue, first of all,
Yes.
मेकिंग इट सो रियल एंड ह्यूमन. सो जब राइटिंग लेवल पे ही आपको जो भी मिल रहा है, स्क्रिप्ट, सीन्स, बैकग्राउंड स्टोरी, प्रोसेस इतना ह्यूमन से कनेक्टेड रिलेटेड है ऑलरेडी, देन योर वर्क बिकम्स इजियर एज एन आर्टिस्ट. Had this been a very caricature role where there are typical scenes, stereotypical scenes, I'll give you one small example. What Vandana been pointed out, कि जब वो तीन लड़के आते हैं उसके ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन सीक्वेंस में, so the first thought is कि हाँ अब कुछ होने वाला है. The writer is breaking the stereotype. Those three boys are not here to harm her, or we are not going to show कि अरे अब कुछ हो जाएगा और ये कैसे बचेगी, which we have been seeing for decades. We know these are all stereotypes which are set. We have shown कि no, those boys are not bad. Just because somebody is smoking or somebody is, roaming around at night, कि वो उसको hurt ही करने आए हैं. They actually help her. They are good people. So the judgment barrier has been broken, which is a path-breaking thing as a filmmaker, I feel. And there are so many like these small instances, not just this one. And coming back to mental health research, so my sister is a clinical psychologist, my real sister.
Oh, okay.
So I took a lot of help from her
Nice.
to understand, study depression, specifically because we are showing Smruti in reference to depression. She, in fact, uses this word in a particular scene. She says that, yes, I am going through a depression, to a woman who she has met just 3 days ago.
And she is on antidepressants. We see her taking pills and all of that.
Yes, yes. But the details, as you said, that how I prepared for this. So, firstly, of course, Sir had written it so articulate things. There is no vague space in Smruti's life or any character's life. कि यहाँ पे just fill it on your own. In my career, I have come across a director. When I asked a director, what is the backstory of how do I like weave it in my head? When I come on screen, I have to perform this one scene. But you are representing a character's entire life. When you're talking as a person, it's not just those 5 minutes and that one scene for that character. No, that character has an entire life, which you need to know, live, be there. So I have met directors who say कि नहीं कुछ अपना बना ले, like you do make some story and somehow come to this. But with Abhishek sir, it's he was so clear, so specific, precise beats. Coming back to what you asked, that how we the transformation scene. Most of the people are talking about this entire sequence, that when we see Smruti's transformation, it's not over dramatic, it's not melodramatic कि suddenly one moment and cinematically liberty लेके दिखा दिया कि अब so we as a team, it was a challenge, but sir was holding my hand at every step. So because we logically, practically, it's not possible to shoot the entire sequence chronologically. So what we were doing it in bits and parts. That this sequence, this sequence, this sequence. There is no specific scenes in that lines or scenes. It's all montage. So me and sir would discuss how much should we show now? Little bit, okay, little more. It builds from 0 to 100. So we literally divided. In my head, I had literally divided 20, then 40, then 50, then 70, then 90. Because
Beautiful thing was that we didn't have any permission to shoot in the train or the train station or the path where she met that two-wheeler wala guy, right?
Yes.
वो
It's a
सब हम लोगों
gorilla.
ने छोटे कैमरा पे शूट किया है. एंड तब मेरे पास बिल्कुल टाइम नहीं था, विनीता के पास टाइम नहीं था. हम 1 मिनट में मैं उसको इशारा करता था और वो बोल हाँ सर અહીંયા से નીકળી પછી નું છે ओके डन एक्शन. तो इस तरह से वो पूरा सीक्वेंस हम लोगों ने शूट किया है छोटे कैमरा पे.
Sir was so clear. He knew in his head कि ये है पूरी
And
माला.
Anuj, there are lots of metaphors in the whole sequence of Smriti.
Yeah.
So for me, depression, the definition of depression is you lost the path,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So
Yes.
Smriti lost the path, and then she came to know that there is a train, right? There is a right train
Yes.
which will help me, right? And then वो मैप देखती है. फॉर मी डिप्रेशन का रास्ता आपको खुद ढूंढना पड़ता है, लेकिन आपको मैप कहाँ है वो तो पता चलना चाहिए कि नहीं.
बिल्कुल
सो
बिल्कुल.
देन शी फाइंड आउट कि मैप कहाँ है और मैप में उसे कहाँ जाना है. देन वो राइट ट्रेन आती है. वो ट्रेन में भी आपको ही बैठना होता है. एंड जब वो ट्रेन में बैठती है देन वो पॉजिटिविटी वहां से शुरू होती है, राइट. तो वो ट्रेन क्यों है, वाई द मैप, वो क्यों ऐसे अंधेरे में चल के आ रही है, उसके बाद वो क्यों आगे आगे जाके चलती हुई एक ऐसे रास्ते पे जहाँ पे बहुत लोग चल रहे हैं, बहुत कम लोग हैं, रोशनी भी कम है, लेकिन शी इज स्माइलिंग. तो ये सारे मेटाफर थे, लेकिन ये मेटाफर के लिए मेरे पास टाइम नहीं था.
जी.
So we didn't have the luxury to shoot the I think one of the major sequences in which we didn't have the permissions. We only have one car, and we only had 3 people with me: one cameraman, one production guy, and me and Vinita.
Wow, that was amazing. Right. Honestly, Abhishek, I think your perspectives on Vinita's character and the mental health aspect was so enriching, and I think I'm very happy to hear that you've done that. I think now what's next, I think in Gujarati cinema is to actually address LGBTQIA topics on a lot
Yeah.
on a lot more mainstream.
Definitely.
Because there's been opportunities to, but I feel a lot of films have missed out on that, very frankly. And I think it's still something which is really tugging me, you know. I'm going to come to Tejal, actually, because Tejal, bless Tejal, has been listening throughout and I've not been able to come to you. So apologies for the wait, Tejal, and thank you so much for listening in. But I think for you, I loved your character. I think it was such a, it was, I think when she cried and when her emotional outcry happened, I think something just made me feel like, oh, like, you just wanted to give her a big hug because you could understand the her wish of why she came to London. It wasn't just there कि मेरे को बस घूमना है, photos लेनी है, but there was a actual, in a way, a generational reason that why she came. You were in Hellaro as well, weren't you, Tejal, as well?
Yeah.
Pomti, I believe her character name was.
Yes.
And I remember, I think you were brilliant in that as well. And I think, when it comes from Hellaro, because वो एक अलग space में था, उसका situation अलग था, ये भी अलग space है. But that sense of suppressing emotions and then having an outcry and, expressing that fully. How would you describe that evolution in terms of Abhishek's a depiction of it and yourself as an actor from then to now?
કેવું થાય છે અભિષેકના રાઇટિંગમાં હું પહેલેથી એની સાથે હોઉં છું.
જી.
હા, તો મને કેરેક્ટરને સમજવામાં બહુ વાર નથી થતી. અને જ્યાં સુધી ફિલ્ડનો સવાલ છે ને, તો હું હજુ પણ એમ કહું છું કે કચ્છ પણ સરખું હતું અને લંડનની ઠંડી પણ સરખી હતી. ત્યાં ગરમી હતી અને અહીં ઠંડી હતી. સિચ્યુએશન્સમાં બહુ ફરક નહોતો. પણ એક્ટર તરીકે મેં મારી જાત સાથે એવી ચેલેન્જ લીધેલી કે આ પ્રકારનું કામ મેં પહેલા કર્યું નહોતું. મને મારું કેરેક્ટર છે, તો હું જેવું સમજી છું મારી જાતને, તો એ રડવું કદાચ મારા માટે સહેલું છે. હું બહુ જલ્દી એમ્પથી કરી લઉં એવી માણસ છું. હું જલ્દી કોઈની સાથે કનેક્ટ થઈ જાઉં. મને બહુ જલ્દી કોઈના દુઃખે રડવું આવી જાય. બટ કોમેડી કરવી ઓર કોઈને હસાવવું અને પોતાની જાતને પણ એટલી હળવી રાખવી, એ મારા માટે બહુ અઘરું હતું. સો એક્ટર તરીકે મને આ વખત આ ફિલ્મમાં એવી ચેલેન્જ લેવી હતી કે હું જોઉં છું હું મારી જાત સાથે શું કરી શકું, વધારે નવું શું કરી શકું, સામેવાળા એક્ટર સાથે એટલે મને એમાં વંદનાબેન અને બીજા બધા કેરેક્ટર્સે પણ બહુ સરસ સપોર્ટ કર્યો છે કે કેમ કે તમે કોમેડી છે ને એકલા નથી કરી શકતા.
ના.
એ આપલે જ હોય છે. તમને સામે એવો રિપ્લાય મળે તો તમે એવો સરસ જવાબ આપો તો એ વસ્તુ રિસીવ થાય. તો મને એ રીતે એવું લાગે છે કે મને થોડી મહેનત પડી પણ મને કરવામાં બહુ મજા આવી.
No, but Sache Kharekar, it was really beautiful. I think, it's not just the character thing, because I think a lot of, like, especially my grandparents as well, because they kind of grew up when the British Raj were there in India, and with the, so I think it's a very colonial thing. Like, I feel like it's a very post-colonial sort of a strand, which I think you very beautifully touched on, Abhishek, actually, which I think um, but I think, Abhishek, I want to ask you some filmmaking questions because I have a lot to ask you, actually. Number one is that I think when it comes to geographical locations, then juxtaposing this sort of uh the emotions of the characters, the suppression, it's very interesting because in Hellaro you had the desert, right? You had the run, and then you had beautifully doing the garbas, right? So that looks so disproportionate to what their emotion, like what like in terms of the suppression that they were having, but yet the geographical location was so big. And again in Hellaro it's very similar what you've done here in terms of the subliminal themes.
Right.
So what has really, I think, number one, helped you, especially as a man, to really understand the female lens? Because I think number one, it's and I don't want to make it gender specific, so apologies. I don't mean to be
Right.
a journalist to make it that way, but I think it'll be nice to understand from your perspective and how you manage to understand that emotional core on a human level.
Actually, I don't believe in discrimination. I don't see कि ये man है, ये woman है. तो वो मेरे लिए बहुत I'm a kind of privileged person, right? As far as observation and the communication with different gender people are concerned, मैं कभी किसी के साथ इस तरह से बात नहीं करता कि ये फीमेल है मेल है, राइट? सो मेरा लैंड है ना, वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ ह्यूमन वाला है. वो मुझे बहुत हेल्प करता है. So that is the major reason. Second thing is sympathy and empathy. दो चीजें ऐसी है जो ह्यूमन बीइंग में अलग अलग मात्रा में होती है. There are some percentages of sympathy and empathy.
Yeah.
So वो अगर करेक्ट जगह पे है and you believe that कि everyone is equal. So I think these are the reasons. Otherwise I don't know कि कहाँ से मैं ये सोचता हूँ और किस तरह से मैंने ये. But this is the only, I think, मैंने बहुत बार कोशिश की ये सोचने की, लेकिन मुझे ऐसे ही जवाब मिले कि यस.
No, it was really beautiful, honestly. Like I absolutely.
I just wanted to add something. आपने जो बात शुरू की थी पहले कि so I had desert, I had bhungas, right? And I had a specific deserted location in Hellaro, right? तो मेरे लिए चैलेंज ये था इस फिल्म में कि मेरे पास पूरा इंग्लैंड होने वाला था, राइट? But the challenge is that geographically, if a person is traveling to the UK, to England, so there should be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. Right? They have to travel. They have to travel from one city to another city. Right? So for every scenes, I have some interpretations, I have some metaphors, I have to tell something with the location. I wanted to tell something with the locale. But the challenge is that if I want to shoot a scene where all the windows and doors are closed and Seema Ben is walking with Chaya Ben, so I have to search a location in central London only, because that day is at central London and it's a day 5, I think. Day 5. Right. So if I'm getting something which is very beautiful and which is very good for Avni and Vasudha's sequence, but I can't shoot there. So क्या होता है, हमारी हिंदी फिल्मों में ऐसा होता है कि अगर चले गए तो कहीं भी चले गए. एक सीन ऊटी में है, दूसरा सीन गोवा में है, राइट? तो मेरे लिए ये बहुत स्पेसिफिक था कि मुझे अवनी वसुधा के लिए कुछ ऐसा चाहिए जहां पे वसुधा के पीछे कुछ ना हो, अवनी के पीछे पूरी दुनिया हो, लेकिन मैं वो सीन कैम्ब्रिज में शूट नहीं कर सकता. आई हैव टू शूट 5 सीन्स इन कैम्ब्रिज, जो शायद डे 1 के भी हो, डे 2 के भी है, डे 3 के भी हो. सो आई हैव प्लान द फिल्म इन अ वे कि जहां पे मुझे जो जो मेटाफर्स चाहिए थे लोकेशंस के, वो लोकेशंस और वो सीन्स एक साथ बैठ के मैंने और मेरे चीफ एडी ने 10 बार एक बार चेक किया कि इफ वी वांट टू शूट द डे 3 इन लेट्स से विंडसर, तो विंडसर में कौन कौन से सीन है, विंडसर में हमें क्या क्या मिल रहा है. विंडसर में एक हम रिवर के पास शूट कर पाएंगे, हम लोग विंडसर वो जो ब्रिज है उस पर शूट कर पाएंगे. वी हैड अ गुड गार्डन, लेकिन उसमें क्या ये 4 सीन होंगे? नहीं. तो लेट्स स्किप इट और इसको डे 4 रखते हैं. सो दैट वाज वेरी ब्यूटीफुल डिजाइंड.
Scheduling,
आई वुड
yeah.
से स्केड्यूल, क्योंकि वो स्केड्यूल मेरे लिए इतना डिफिकल्ट था, हम लोगों को इतने दिन लग गए थे, क्योंकि इन 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 2023 जुलाई आई वाज देयर फॉर द रैकी. और रैकी में हम लोग एक एक सिटी में जब जा रहे थे, तो एक सिटी में जाने के बाद मैं और अपूर्व एक साथ पूरी फिल्म के सीन्स डिस्कस कर रहे थे. सो नॉट ओनली वन सीक्वेंस, नॉट ओनली वन डे, बिकॉज हमें हम अगर गए हैं कैम्ब्रिज में तो हमें वहां जाके पूरी फिल्म डिस्कस करनी पड़ती थी कि ये यहाँ पे होगा क्या, यहाँ पे होगा क्या. देन हम लोग वापस अहमदाबाद आए और हम लोगों ने एक डे 1, डे 2, डे 3 उसके बहुत स्पेसिफिक सिटीज क्रिएट करे.
बहुत
And
अच्छा
then-
डिटेल्ड एल्बम बना था, जिसमें जो सीन है, एक तरफ सीन था और एक तरफ वो लोकेशन की छोटी छोटी फोटोज थी, और वो बहुत प्लान चीज थी. हाँ.
In fact, on the last day of our workshop, Abhishek ne humko, the last 2 hours, I distinctly remember this. He had shown us our our costumes, the background. वो costumes में background कैसा होगा हमारे, अगर ये emotional scenes है तो हमारे जो locations है उसकी सारी तस्वीरें दिखाई गई हमको. वो जगह क्या है, वो कब हमारी requirement होगी कि ये कैसे होगा, the human requirement, the actor requirement, everything.
Wow.
That and how to quietly and with a lot of discipline and manners go and do your work without troubling the
Nice.
direction team and the production team. Everything was told to
Anuj,
us.
you would be very thrilled to know that 2 major sequences, there are many, but the Ambaji sequence, where Chayabin is talking on the video call with her son, and the intro sequence, where we enter the property. We have just reached London and we reached to the accommodation where we are going to stay, all 7 ladies. That those 2 entire sequences we have rehearsed as it is, the way it's shown in the film, without any change.
Yeah.
We
In
did it in
Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad while we were doing the workshops.
In Ahmedabad, yeah.
So
Wow.
where we were shown a video of UK location where we have shot, actually also we have shot it, it's not changed. Where we actually shot, and that's what you see in the film, the location video, that this is how you enter the property, this is the location video, and we have rehearsed that, all of us together in Ahmedabad.
Oh wow. Amazing.
Yeah, he
There was-
showed us
so
where
there
the
were these 2
fireplace is.
pillars. Yeah.
Where the fireplace is,
Exactly.
Exactly. Could be.
Yeah. So if we went without standing at the fireplace, he was like, "There's a fireplace here. You guys are forgetting. Come back. Say your line here, then go."
And rehearse से मेरा मतलब ये नहीं है कि तुमको यहाँ खड़ा रहना है, तुमको यहाँ खड़ा रहना है, हो गया rehearse. No. We have rehearsed. Apurva has shot it. It's actually action and cut. We are doing a scene.
While we were doing a workshop.
And it's being shot on the phone. This is how it's going to be shot when we actually shoot on location. That's what happened.
That was wonderful.
Can you imagine?
That was so good.
So we just, the only difference is we didn't have a costume and our hair and our makeup. Otherwise,
was
everything
brilliant.
was the same in the workshop.
Yeah. That helped us a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's why we could finish it in 17 days.
Yeah.
This
No.
was
Imagine the clarity of director and the first, his left
and his
hand.
team.
How they must be prepared.
No, 100%. No, beautiful insight once again. Thank you so much for that. Abhishek, I think I want to come back to you again.
Yeah,
I
Anuj,
yes.
I'll take your leave because I
No
have to take my
problem.
mom to the doctor.
Oh, no,
So she
no
just
problem.
fractured her hand, so I have to take her
Oh,
for the
Oh,
yeah, to change her bandage.
Patta.
So,
oh, yes. But
so
no
bye
problem. Thank you,
everyone.
Ben. Thank you for joining. It was so good
Bye
to
bye. Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
bye, bye,
Vandana.
Vandana.
Bye. Huh. So, Abhishek sir, I wanted to ask you about. I forgot what I wanted to ask now. Let me think. I think what I wanted to ask was actually this यार मैं भूल गया हाँ it was about Gujarati cinema. Yes, I remember. Okay, so I think it's great that because obviously Gujarati cinema is in good hands because obviously we have filmmakers like yourself that are in place to really kind of um kind of just change the narrative a little bit. For a while it was basically the copy paste kind of format that was happening. सिर्फ comedies चलती थी because लोगों को बस हंसना था मजे करना था लेकिन people are now actually watching content which is actually delving in. Um, this revival of Gujarati cinema, what do you think, number one, has really contributed towards it? And number two, how can we as Gujarati support our cinema more? Because if there's one thing that I have gathered, and I feel like, and I'm saying this from a very critical perspective because I'm very passionate about this subject area, is that I feel as Gujaratis, we're still quite insular. We do not support one another as much as we should do.
I
yeah,
agree.
And I'm
I agree. I agree.
and it really, just forgive me for my French, but it pisses me off sometimes when I see the lack of support for one another. And how do you think we can collaboratively work on this and actually improve it?
Uh, can you please repeat your
Sorry, it was such a
question number one? Question number one. Question number two. Yes, I got it.
so the question number one was about the revival of Gujarati cinema and what's really contributed.
Okay. Okay. Revival of Gujarati cinema. I think it was from 2012, right? So it's been 13 years now. But I think as a filmmaker, I would love to say that हम लोग बहुत अच्छी अच्छी फिल्में बना सकते थे. हम लोगों ने बहुत कम फिल्में अच्छी बनाई हैं. Which is the problem? Up now, you will get the answer number two. So ev- after every 10 films, we have only one good film, right? So for the audiences, for the Gujarati people, what we have done, एक फिल्म अच्छी आई बेयार, लोग देखने गए, देन तीन फिल्में बहुत खराब आई. लोगों ने एक बार ग्रेस दिया, दो बार दिया, तीन बार दिया, एंड देन लोगों ने सोचा कि यार फिल्म देखने नहीं जाना है. देन कोई फिर अच्छी फिल्म आई, उसे फिर से ऑडियंस को कहना पड़ा कि भाई we have a good content, come and watch our film, right? So this is the, I think, after the revival of Gujarati cinema, we are facing the issue of great content and good content
And
Mm.
as far
consistency.
as my knowledge is concerned, right? So that is the major reason. And the second reason એ સૌથી વધારે મજાની વાત એવી છે કે ગુજરાતી લોકોને ગુજરાતી ભાષાથી પ્રેમ જ નથી.
Correct.
Right. So this is એટલે કેવું છે કે લોકોને બહુ એવરેજ હિન્દી ફિલ્મ જોવી છે. લોકોને ગુજરાતી ફિલ્મ નથી જોવી.
True.
રાઈટ. કોઈ એવું કહે છે કે હું પોડકાસ્ટ કરું છું ગુજરાતીમાં અને હું તમારો ઇન્ટરવ્યુ કરવા માંગુ છું તો માણસ કહે છે હા આપણે કરીએ પછી. અને કોઈ એવું કહે કે मैं हिंदी में कर रहा हूँ, मैं दिल्ली से बोल रहा हूँ, मैं बॉम्बे से बोल रहा हूँ, तुरंत हाँ बोलेंगे.
Yes.
राइट. एक कल अगेन आई एम कोटिंग हिज नेम, સિદ્ધાર્થ અંધેરિયા के साथ बात हुई. તો સિદ્ધાર્થ અંધેરિયાને બોલા કે મને બહુ જ બધી હિન્દી પિક્ચરોમાં ઓફર આવે છે. તો હું એટલા માટે ના પાડું છું કે હું જે અહીંયા કરી શકીશ ને ત્યાં નહીં કરીશ.
No, true.
उससे उल्टा होता है कि गुजराती एक्टर्स एंड गुजराती व्यूअर्स एंड गुजराती क्रिएटर्स, इन सबको हिंदी से बहुत प्यार है. राइट. और हम लोग अपनी खुद की लैंग्वेज को इस तरह से, मैंने बहुत मेरे ऐसे दोस्त देखे हैं कि जो लोग अपने बच्चे के साथ इंग्लिश में बात करते हैं. वाई? क्योंकि बच्चा इंग्लिश में पढ़ रहा है. राइट. और उनको ऐसा है कि उनका बच्चा अगर गुजराती बोल लेगा तो उनको ऐसा लगेगा कि यार बच्चा इंग्लिश मीडियम में पढ़ रहा है और अच्छी तरह से इंग्लिश नहीं बोल पाता. सो दैट इज द इश्यू जो हमारा बहुत सालों से चला आ रहा है. हम लोग ऐसे लोग हैं कि जिन लोगों ने सिर्फ बिजनेस ही किया है। वाई? क्योंकि क्योंकि सबसे पहले समंदर के आसपास जो बिजनेस शुरू हुए वो गुजरात से शुरू हुए थे, राइट? और गुजरात में जितने भी बिजनेस हुए वहां से धीरे 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 एक्सपांड होता गया बिजनेस, और फिर अभी पूरे इंडिया में अलग अलग टाइप के बिजनेसेस है। हमने गरीबी नहीं देखी, हमने भूख नहीं देखी, हमने लोगों को हर बार एक्सेप्ट किया है। हमारे वहाँ बहुत सारे नॉन गुजराती लोग हैं जो लोग हमारे साथ हिंदी में बात करते हैं। हमारी ऐसी लैंग्वेज है कि जो हिंदी के बहुत करीब है। हमें हिंदी बहुत पसंद है, हमें हिंदी सिनेमा बहुत पसंद है। दैट इज द इश्यू।
या
सो दैट इज द मेजर इश्यू कि जिसकी वजह से हमारा हमारा जो कंटेंट है, वो अगर यूट्यूब का वीडियो हो, या फिर हमारा कोई पॉडकास्ट हो, या फिर गुजराती सिनेमा की कोई बात हो, या फिर गुजराती सिनेमा हो, या फिर नाटक हो, हमारा ऑडियंस उसको ग्रेस ही नहीं देता है। तो ऑलवेज माई फिल्म वुड बी द थर्ड ऑप्शन फॉर अ गुजराती व्यूअर, गुजराती ऑडियंस।
મને મને એમાં એક વસ્તુ ઉમેરવું પણ છે કે દર વખતે એવું નથી હોતું. જેમ કે અત્યારે ઉમરો ચાલી રહી છે સરસ થિયેટરમાં, અને અમે લોકો બહુ જ બધા લોકોને મળી રહ્યા છીએ. તો બધા જ એવું કે છે કે કેમ કે અને બહુ જ બધી જ ઉંમરના માણસો ઉમરો જોવા આવે છે. મેં આટલા ઘરડાઓને મારી એજમાં અથવા મારી સમજણની ઉંમરમાં થિયેટરમાં નથી જોયા. કેમ કે મારા મમ્મી ડેડી અથવા તો મારા જ વડીલો નથી જતા ફિલ્મ જોવા. તો પછી હું એવી અપેક્ષા બી નહીં રાખી શકું કે બીજા પણ અત્યારે ઉંમરો જોવા બધી જ એજના લોકો જાય છે, અને એમનું કહેવું એવું હોય છે કે ફેમિલી ફિલ્મ આવતી જ નથી.
જી બિલકુલ ટ્રુ.
કરેક્ટ.
અને એ મોટો વર્ગ છે, તમે એને ઇગ્નોર ના કરી શકો ને. આખું ફેમિલી સાથે ફિલ્મ જોવા જાય, સાથે એન્જોય કરે એવી હિન્દી ફિલ્મ પણ નથી આવતી હવે, અભિષેક.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting you said that because I did an interview with Suraj Bajatiya recently, and I said to him, I was like, "Sir, आप फिल्में बनाइए please." सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत आपकी फिल्मों को है दुनिया को अभी. You know, because I feel like that they've lost touch of that whole family vibe. It's all so violent and like hinsa
Glamour.
sort of, you know, but it's fine. I mean, I don't mind it. It's not no disrespect to any piece of art because any art is every art is important for me, right? But I do agree with that. But I think Abhishek, I wanted to also highlight this very beautiful shot that you had. I think it was when Falguni Pathak song was happening and everyone was dancing, like you know, in Haya, in Hellaro, there's that individual shots, you know, just to before the credits come.
Yeah.
You have those individual shots that they kind of like fade in to each individual woman. I love that. It reminded me so much of Haya. I cannot tell you because that was a form of
Yeah.
if we could also like sort of talk a bit about that because I think that was really beautiful. And again, you know, there's so many liberating songs that you had in Hellaro, you know, and I think here you also have that as well. So if you could please talk about that camera shot, that would be really lovely.
तो वो जो गाना जिस स्क्रीन प्ले में जहाँ पे आता है वहां, इट इज नॉट अबाउट स्मृति, इट इज नॉट अबाउट फाल्गुनी पाठक, इट इज अबाउट दोज विमेन जो अपनी लाइफ का जो थ्रेशोल्ड है उसके बहुत करीब पहुंच गई है, राइट? सो स्मृति का વિસ્મય का બર્થડે होना, वेर इज द पार्टी टुनाइट, आज नवी स्मृति नो भी बर्थडे છે, उसके बाद जाने के बाद ये गाना सब लोगों का है, राइट?
Yes.
तो आई वांटेड अ सॉन्ग जिसमें शायद कोई मोटिवेट ना हुआ हो फिल्म देख के, तो वो 75% ऑफ द फिल्म खत्म होने के बाद वो गाना देख के मोटिवेट हो जाए, जिसके वर्ड ही कहते हैं कि वह तू जे अंदर तो वहवा तू दे, मन ने मजा लेवा तू दे, સરકી જા બેબર તું નીચેથી ભોજમાં અંદરથી નાચ. તો હું શું કહેવા માંગુ છું કે એ એક ગીત બધાનું છે. જેમ છેલ્લે હૈયામાં ઠેક્યા મેં થોરિયા ને ઠેકી મેં વાડ, ઠેક્યા તે દીધેલા ઊંચેરા પાડ, ઠેકી ઠેકીને મેં પહોંચી છું ઠેઠ મારા હૈયાના ઝાડવાની હેઠ. તો એ બધી સ્ત્રીઓની વાત છે. એટલે there are specific shots જેમાં એક સ્ત્રી તમને દેખાય છે. અને now watch the film again, watch that song again. આખું જે કમ્પોઝિશન છે ને ડાન્સનું, એને એડિટર જે છે મારું પ્રતીક, એને ફોલો કર્યું છે. સો યુ વુડ સી કે એક આમ કરે છે તો બીજી આમ કરે છે, ત્રીજી આમ કરે છે, ચોથી આમ કરે છે, અને પાંચમી ફરે છે.
હા 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 હા.
તો there is one emotion, એક જ ખાલી ઠેકીને નીકળી જવાનું ઇમોશન છે. એટલા માટે એ આખું કમ્પોઝિશન એક જ રાખ્યું છે. સ્લો મોશનમાં ચાલ્યા કરે છે, પણ તમને એવું લાગશે કે તમે એક જ ખાલી ગરબો આમ જોયો, પછી તમને એવું ખબર પડે કે આ બધી અલગ અલગ સ્ત્રીઓ હતી અને બધી સ્પેસિફિક ડાન્સ પોતાના અલગ અલગ કરતી હોવા છતાં તમે જ્યારે એક સાથે જુઓ છો ત્યારે તમને એક જ ગરબો દેખાશે, એક જ કમ્પોઝિશન દેખાશે તમને. તો વિચ વોઝ ધ આઈડિયા. અને અહીંયા પણ એવું જ હતું કે છેલ્લે જ્યારે બધા જ લોકો મજા કરે છે ત્યારે મારે બધી જ સ્ત્રીઓને પોતાના જીવનમાં, પોતાના મનમાં, પોતાના તાલ પર, પોતાના ગીતમાં ઝૂમતી બતાવવી જ પડે.
બ્યુટીફુલ.
એટલે હૈયાની જેમ આમાં પણ દે આર ડાન્સિંગ ઓન ધેર ઓન બીટ્સ, ઓન ધેર ઓન મ્યુઝિક. એટલે there are some shots કે જેમાં એ લોકો એન્જોય કરી રહ્યા છે.
Wonderful. Well, look, I think on that note, I'm going to definitely call it a day. I think we've had such a beautiful, comprehensive session. It's been such a pleasure to have all of you with me. And I think also on a parting note, I'll also want to say that Mehul Surti, who has also composed
Yes.
for the soundtrack of the film and also done the background scoring as well, I believe. He's done a phenomenal job. He was part of Abhishek
Yeah.
Hellaro, and Hellaro is a National Award-winning film, and it's truly not just a gem of Gujarati cinema, but a gem of Indian cinema generally. And I
Thank you.
we've been so that last time I did a session with Abhishek was actually on Instagram Live, if you remember, during by
Yeah.
Abhishek. So it was such a
Yes,
nice.
yes.
It was so good to see you all again.